this. When I took the Shahada, I felt something I never felt before. I was saying Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and I felt like there was something heavy on my chest that had been ripped off. I literally went, and it was as if for the first time in my life, I had breathed in. Years later, I'm reading in the Quran the verse that talks about the people that are not Muslims or don't believe, their chests are constricted like the one going up in the mountain. The whole day was just exhilarating. I felt like I was free. I felt like finally I found the place that I needed to be. I found who and what I needed to be. And I felt like a spiritual high. Even I went home to my apartment. I called my father, who at that time was in Germany, and I was like, I became a Muslim. And his words, are you crazy? Have you been brainwashed? What's wrong with you? He wasn't happy, of course. And he told me, that's it. I'm sending a ticket. Tomorrow you'll be on a plane on your way to Germany. And I told him I can't. I said, I can't deny it. This is the truth. I cannot deny it. He told me he's sending me a ticket, which he did. It was delivered to the house the next day. And he said, if you don't take this ticket, I no longer have a daughter, you're dead to me. And wallahi, it's only from Allah that I was able to survive that, because I was very close to my family. But again, it was only from Allah. Only from Allah, because I'm not strong. I know that I'm not a strong person. But Allah gives you what you need. My family is basically, daddy says, everybody follows. I was left alone. I was thrown out of the university. I was basically left, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Like I told you, I was a spoiled brat. So I had a brand new cherry red Camaro. I sold it. And I lived from that for the next year because I didn't have a job. I didn't finish my education. My father had disowned me. My brothers, my sisters, my aunt, nobody would communicate with me. On top of this, subhanAllah, I don't know who. There were days I would come down. I never told anybody I had problems. I never told anybody that my family had disowned me. But I would come down, because I lived upstairs, to my mailbox, and I would find envelopes of money inside. I don't know where it came from. I'm going to assume the Muslim community thought this woman needs somebody to help her. But to this day, I don't know who left that money, but alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. They helped a lot.
Where were you expelled from the university?
I put on hijab the day I became Muslim. As soon as my professor saw me, he's like, what are you doing? I explained that I had become a Muslim, and he's like, you recognize you've lost everything. So they threw me out of the university. Basically, these people run the university. They're basically, the organization, the people that are within it, they basically are the dean and the president and these type things. The dean of my college said, take the class, continue your class, I guarantee you an F from now. And I didn't know what to do, and I knew that he could do that. The final classes that I had were all independent studies. It was just the last part of my education. And if I don't get this, I won't get an education. So for 1 year, I didn't go to school. I had a hard time getting a job. I even tried to get a job as a file clerk, just filing papers. And they told me, I'm sorry, your hijabi thing won't let you, because of that, you won't be able to do filing. As if somehow this made me stupid. Daddy knows that I love fast cars. He bought me a Ferrari. He's like, it's yours if you take off your hijab. But I had to say, I'm sorry. Dunya or Allah, which do I want? And it was, very simple to choose, alhamdulillah. I was able to pay my rent. I was able to pay basic things that I needed. But by the end of the year, essentially, which is why to this day I don't really like pasta very much with red sauce, only thing that I could afford to buy was tomato paste, a few spices, and macaroni, because I was broke, completely broke. But then Allah opened the door. SubhanAllah. My father by that time was in Puerto Rico. He was the base commander in Puerto Rico. He called me and he said, there's been a threat on the lives of all of us that work on the military and federal buildings here. All of these positions, them and their families have been threatened by a group of people who wanted Puerto Rico to be independent. So my father called me and he's like, you'll have security at your house within an hour. And he sent a Marine to my house to guard. After that, I was there for like a couple of days. And then he flew me to where he was in our home in South Carolina. And he took me back at that moment. I can't blame my father. If you love someone, he loved me, I'm his daughter, you want to save them from what you think is a mistake. So he figured, this spoiled brat, if I take away the money, if I take away the family, if I take away all the things that she loves, she'll come running back. And I didn't. And he might have made it longer, giving me a chance to come back, but now I'm in danger. So he said, forget all that, let me just get her back. And that's what he did. So from that moment, alhamdulillah, he took care of everything.
What were you thinking in this whole year What was going through your mind? How were you feeling? And how could you, deal with this difficult situation?
I know it sounds weird. I had read the hadiths that if Allah loves somebody, He tests them. He doesn't want you to have in your heart other than Him, not the dunya, not your family, not your society. So I felt that, okay, Allah's testing me. Allah wants to see if I really believe. Allah wants to see if I'm going to be good. And if I do it, He's going to love me. And that's the thing that motivated me. I wanted Allah to love me.
What was the reaction of the organization when you converted to Islam? Did they try to harm you so that you would not spread their secret? How did it go for you?
I never even told anybody how I became Muslim until maybe 10, 12 years after I became Muslim. Somebody asked me the question and they were shocked by my answer. And from that moment, they were like, you need to write this. You need to put this on the internet. And I did. I wrote it, and that's when people started to show me, oh, wait a minute, this is amazing. We didn't know that this existed. We've heard of such things, but we didn't know that it's real. But before that, I never even told anybody how I had become Muslim.